So the meeting took place, and what came out of that was that I think the meeting is the 21st of June.
Yeah.
As 21 days has to be given notification, which probably will, I would imagine, we might know who the manager coming in is. I'd imagine we might know who the backroom team are. We may know who the director of football is, or we may not, because at that stage the players will be back for pre-season. So it's a kind of it's a real unsure time, Jeanette, and the meeting then, does it come too late for people? Will they have changed their mind? I know that the rules of the trust is 21 days, but there's a big cooling off period there.
Well, I think people need to be clear. A meeting of the trust is not going to change what's happening at Celtic and who the manager's going to be and how quickly a manager's appointed. A meeting of the trust isn't going to do that. It was never going to do that. People need to understand that. I don't know why they would think that there was some urgency that would allow us to break, that would encourage us to break our constitution and not give people adequate notice. Because if you don't give people adequate notice for meetings, then people don't get to make arrangements to be there. So it's undemocratic. We don't do it. Is 21 days too long? Maybe it should be 14 days. I don't know, but that's what's in our constitution. But in the meantime, we have a trustee board. So if there was something that we needed to do between now and then we have the authority to do that. But what is it that they think we would do that would make a difference? Now, if people are saying to mount some kind of protest, to say something like that, then, these are all things that can be considered. We are not really that kind of organisation, but we have shown in the past that where we think it's important to do that, we'll do it. So it's not that nothing can happen between now and 21 days. I mean, the trustee board has the authority to do whatever needs to be done between now and then. The meeting was obviously because people would feel that they would need to have a meeting because they'd want to talk about everything that's happened. But there is nothing, in that sense, nothing has changed. Our position is that unless you increase the ownership, the legal ownership of the club by fans, and you increase that as much as you can, and I think fan ownership completely is the way forward, but unless you increase that, then you will always find yourself in the position where, a board can do exactly what it wants and you can do nothing other than stand in the car park and cry about it. So in that sense, the project to the trust is exactly the project to the trust. Now, people might be looking for casting around for something that can be done quickly, that can change the situation, that can do... And I'm sorry to have to say, I don't think that exists. But what people need to do is they need to redouble their efforts to say, no matter how long it takes, we need to improve our ownership, increase our ownership of the club. And that can happen two ways. We combine the ownership of all of those 25,000 disparate small shareholders that are out there. That's the first thing. That doesn't involve money. That just means somehow organising to get them there. And as you know, Andrew, we've been working on that for some time to try and do exactly that. And the other way is to buy shares, and that involves our membership in terms of our membership fees, but it also involves fundraising, which we haven't really done. So people need to think, if you don't want to be in this position, can we fix this right now? Can the trust do that? No. Can anybody do it? No. The board's the only people who can fix this now. Can we call on the board? Can we publicly protest against the board? Can we make our views known to the board? Yes, we can do all of that, but we can't fix it. Can we make sure we're not in this situation again? Yes, we all can if we unite together to do that. That can only happen with unity. That can only happen with all those small shareholders, because they're not all disconnected. Lots of people know where their shares are. They just never vote them. They just never, ever vote their shares. So if you know where your shares are and you're still getting emails for the club, get in touch with us. Be ready to get together in some kind of discussion which we can organise about how we're going to vote, how we're going to... one of the best things we could do, for instance, at the next AGM, if we had a really solid block of votes to ask for a real shake-up of that board in terms of the non-executive directors and the amount of time they've been in there, and really call them to account. We could do that. We could do that by November, but we can't do it on our own, it has to be the unity of the fans. So if the only thing that comes out of this, if you're really angry, don't get mad, get even. Get us together, because the project of the Trust is exactly, and always has been, to stop this sort of thing happening and to give fans a proper voice and an avenue for raising concerns. And we don't want to have one at the minute, which is why everybody, what are you left with? You can go into social media and, go on and on and on about it. And I understand why people do it, and I've done it myself, but they don't care about that. They don't care. But they would care if we got up to 5% of the vote, 20% of the vote, 20. If we started to build that up, they would care about that.
Anything to add to that, David?
No, that's all true. Time to step up, I think. If you have shares, get active. If you think if you get shares, find them and get them registered in the correct name and address and vote them and get active. We've done it before, getting active I'm talking about, and it can be done again. It's shareholders that own the club, and you just got to get active and start supporting the Trust.
To be honest, we're a membership organisation. We think the best way to do this is to join the Trust. But see if you don't want to join the Trust, but you do want to be able to combine with other shareholders, we're still the mechanism to organise that. So if you're in touch with us and we have your contact details, even if you're not a member, it can be the case that when it comes to votes at AGMs, we can contact you and say, here is what we're proposing to put forward. If you agree with that, either vote your shares in that way or proxy your shares to us for this AGM and allow us to cast them and use them. And then obviously we want you to be a member. We think being a member is the best way to do it. But if you don't want to be a member, you can still be part of some kind of combined shareholder action. You can still do that. And we're the mechanism, we can provide the mechanism for that to happen. And all you have to do is email us, trust@celtictrust.net, tell us your details and allow us to contact you. Even if it's only once a year, allow us to contact you. Give us your email address and say, yes, you can contact me. And at that point, you'll get an email from us saying, this is what we're going to do. Do you want to combine with us? If you don't want to do that, then don't. You're not obligated to do that. But if you say, I know this is the way forward, then you either vote your shares that way or you proxy your vote to us for that single meeting. And then, then we cast them. You have to think about how this can be done, and it simply cannot be done any other way. As long as Celtic is owned by a PLC, this is the only way to do it. There is no other way.
Now, folks, you've heard it there. Thanks, Jeanette. Thanks, David. Don't forget, folks, it can be done. And you don't have to be a big shareholder. If you've got small shares, contact the Trust. Jeanette's giving out the details, and I'll put them on the YouTube and the podcast description. And you can also, if you don't have shares, you can also join the Trust for £5 a month, which is the price of a pint. So, and you can't complain then, because you'll have a say.
One member, one vote. Remember that.
Democracy in the Trust.
Yeah.
Folks, thanks very much for coming on again.
Andrew. Aye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.